Hello, everybody. It's time to sit down, relax, and get a cup of tea because it's tea time. And today, since it's Monday, we are going to be, of course, talking The Walking Dead. Yesterday was a nice, really nice episode. I gotta say, I'm kind of sad on a couple fronts, but we'll talk about it in just a moment. A lot did happen, and I still believe a lot's going to happen. I am glad about one thing, though, is that the zombie fight that was shown last week was actually not the one I thought it was going to be, which is a great thing because I really do think that they should leave that. Let this community and the group, let them actually get to know each other and have a couple episodes in there so that way we can, instead of just going right to the zombie attack that's gonna start the downward spiral of this entire thing. However, we're gonna start at the beginning, and at the beginning we see Daryl going out on his brand new motorcycle. Alright, Daryl, yay, he's got his motorcycle back. So everything is starting to look up for the group at that point. And then we cut over to Noah, who is talking to Deanna's husband. I don't remember her name at the moment. And talking about learning how to build stuff. And he gives Newell a notebook saying that he's been writing everything down. Now it's Noah's turn. And in turn, he's going to be writing down the construction stuff. This seemed to be like almost like a red herring for the rest of the episode because we'll see in a little bit. Then we see we see Tara and Eugene and Glenn getting ready to go out with Aiden and Chris. And we see that, Aiden's mom, Deanna, is just saying bye to him. And Tara's like, oh, no, you'll be back. Not Tara, I'm sorry. Maggie is saying to Glenn, I know you'll be back and everything. And then we cut over to Carol and the little boy from the last episode that she kind of threatened. He wanted the cookies. And she kept on telling him, leave me alone, just go. And yeah, it's not gonna. He's like, well, can you at least tell me how to make them? And she told him, well, if you can get the chocolate, I'll do it. So then we cut over to Rick, who goes into I forget her name. Lizzie, I think? No, I don't think that's it. Well, anyway, he goes over to the person he kissed last week's house, and she's complaining that the owl has been destroyed. Well, he's like, well, I'll look into it, see, whatever, and he talks to her about the smashed window theory, which is pretty good that, if a smashed window is left unchecked, that society starts going downhill. Well, could that be the smashed out theory now in this thing that we're going to start seeing? But after that, I forget what happened next, so I'm just going to go out of order. I mean, we see Tara, Eugene, and Glenn go to the warehouse that they were going to find some micro inverters. Yeah, that's what it was, micro inverters, to try to get the power back online because the power went down earlier. And they decided to split up and do a perimeter check first. While Tara and Eugene were big to go by themselves, and we got some nice banter between the two. And then Glenn and Noah goes around does a perimeter check on their own, and finds a whole bunch of walkers right on the front door. Right after the person said, well, if our plan B is to go out the front door. And it's like, oh my god, now you got a bunch of walkers. You're not going to make it. Don't do it. And then they start looking for the microinverters inside, and Eugene finds them. And then we cut over to Abraham and the construction crew. I will say one thing, this has been doing a lot for a lot of the other casts, so we can see what happens. Actually, before Abraham, we actually see Gabriel. I think this happens before the scene too, but we see Gabriel going into the makeshift church. Almost like getting his lesson plan ready. And then he sees the strawberry. He sees strawberries from Rosemary. And then destroys the book. Destroys the Bible. Just rips it totally apart. And then starts crying. And then we go back to Abraham at the construction site, and a zombie attack happens. And this is the first time we actually see what their plan is for when this stuff kind of happens. It was only alluded to about 2 episodes. I think it was 2 episodes ago, when Tara and them were out looking, and the person's like, "Well, if you don't follow the plan, the people didn't follow the plan, and they're dead." Well, we finally seen what their plan is. Zombie attack happens, you get out of Dodge. You're not in the car by the time we leave, you're left behind. It just shows you how bad these people are about actually being in there, and how this group is doing. After the attack happens, we see Abraham just, take down the rest of the things, and the other guy starts joining in. He's like, yeah. And then the one guy's like, well, we're going to go back. And Abraham's like, no, we still got a couple hours left here. We need to get this wall constructed, so let's stay and do this. And the next time we see the guy that wanted to leave, he's back at the mayor's office, wanting Abraham to be now the leader of the construction crew. This is going to be interesting to see, because they said that was going to be another person of the group that was put in charge, and she was not and Dina looks like she wasn't liking that at all, that this group that just came in is already getting into positions of power. Well, then we go back to the warehouse where everybody is. An explosion happens, and the first sad thing happens. Well, besides Aiden getting pierced by 2 metal plates, Tara's knocked unconscious and is bleeding. Tara's one of my favorite people in this series. I hope she doesn't die. I mean, I'll be really sad if she does. She's one of my favorites. And the entire episode, the rest of the episode, I wasn't even into it, to be honest. I'm just thinking on how Tara... Anyway, they decide to leave. Chris goes first, sees the other zombie, the other walkers, and then they both run into and have almost a standstill, and they turnstile because there's a whole bunch of zombies around. And this is actually looking like, okay, we actually see their plan. I mean, when something goes wrong in these plans, going out to scavenge or going out to get wood or whatever, if the zombie attack happens, we get out of there. We go back to the main place, which they know is not a good idea, because then you leave people behind and they get killed, and it's just not a good thing. But anyway, we go back to Rick, and Dina's husband kind of talks to him. truthfully, I didn't really pay much attention to this scene. It was just the whole doctor thing. The guy was drunk, talking about the owl being smashed. And then we go back to Carol and the kid again, and the kid's like, well, why did you need the gun? Because she was asking him about why he wanted the cookies, and he's like, well, why did you need the gun? And then he accidentally let slip that one, he was the person who smashed the owl because of his temper. So he kind of figured, well, this is my dad. She kind of figured, well, this is his dad, and he's going to do this. And the other thing that happened was he let slip that he might have told his dad about the guns, which she said that not to tell anybody. And he runs out, and then she tries to go get him at his house, and his dad answers and basically says, why wouldn't he be all right? And it kind of reminds her of Ed. And I can see where this is coming from. She's been a victim of this kind of place before. So she tells Rick, and she's saying, well, the only thing we can do now is just to kill him. Please don't go down this road, Carol. I know you're playing everybody for a fool right now, but you're getting more and more deranged. But before all that happens, we go back to the warehouse where everything's going down, and Eugene finally does something great for the series. He starts pulling his weights. He takes the van, makes a whole bunch of noise to drag a lot of the zombies away so they can escape. Well, Glenn has a plan. He's like, I'll smash these windows out and we'll be good to go. Well, Chris, going back on the other plans, was able to get a foot in the door, or out the door, and he was able to escape. Well, when that happened, Noah, and this is why I said this is kind of a red herring earlier, is because Noah dies. He gets pulled into the massive zombies and gets eaten. And Chris kind of leaves Glenn right there and runs back to the van with Eugene in it. And Eugene, again, pulling his weight some more, actually decides is doing the correct thing here and starts fighting the guy again. And it's like, yay! But him being Eugene, he doesn't do a good job. But it gives him enough time for Glenn to come up behind the guy and knock the guy out. So he's knocked out Aiden, and now he's knocked out Chris. And Glenn's like almost hesitant. You can actually tell that he was kind of hesitant to actually put the guy into the van. He's like, help me, put him in the back. And you can see on the ride back that has a lot to think about. Like, what am I going to tell Dina now? Her son's dead. And that's probably why another reason he didn't take Chris out. But then we see Gabriel come in. And I know he's seen this group do some unscrupulous things, but they've saved his life, and he's done some unscrupulous things in the past. And there he is doing some more unscrupulous things by telling Dina that these people are not what they seem, that they are Satan and they are false light, and it kind of makes her question a little bit, yes, we need these people in the group, but this guy is saying that from a religious standpoint, that these guys are totally evil and are going to screw us up. And Gabriel does not know about anything that's happened before they found him. And if he was actually with them through those, he might have a different opinion. But I really do think that there's still going to be stuff coming up that's going to be... It's going to rock the place into oblivion. It's going to rock this place, and that power structure is going to change. I think something's going to happen to Gabriel now. I mean, there is no way back from it now. I really do think something's going to happen to him when everything falls, but other than that, it's more of the same. I wish they would show some of the other people. I'm glad that they actually had Tara have some more speaking parts, but I want to get next week to be here so I can see if she's okay. And we do have 2 more days or 2 more episode, or actually 1 more episode, and then the season finale, which I really do think there's going to be a shift of power at that time, and we'll finally see it. But for now, I really did like this episode. It was a really good episode, and Noah, rest in peace, and Tara, please get better. I don't want you to die. You're one of the reasons I watch this show now. Well, you and Daryl, but I want you to stay. Please, Tara, please stay. But anyway, I'm gonna have to talk to everybody later. It's time to close this world and to open the next.